Hello and welcome to CCTV Africa's Facebook Live from Ghana. I'm Uche Okoronkwo. And let me tell you a little bit about this trip we're on. We're here to actually film a promo, but we're in Accra, Ghana's capital. Let me give you a bit more information about the city of Accra. As you can see here, we're at one of the city's most significant or symbolic monuments. We're actually at the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial or Mausoleum. It's where, of course, Ghana's first president, Kwame Nkrumah, is buried. But we're actually in downtown Accra right now. And if you look behind me, you can see it's quite a busy central business district. Now, our guide tells us here is actually Accra's main central business center. He tells us that this is a main street in Accra, Ghana. A little bit about Accra. Accra is Ghana's economic and administrative capital. It actually houses over 2 million people, and it's quite a city that's rich in history, aside from just business issues. Right behind me, you'll see what is called the Old Parliament Building, and it's actually a building that's hundreds of years old right there. Right, pan across right there, and that was actually the old seat of capital, the old capital seat of government, actually, here in Ghana. If you pan just across there, near where the buses are, just down the road is the Independence Square, which is quite symbolic for this city. It is actually where a lot of the national events take place here in Ghana. It's where they celebrate their Independence Day on the 6th of March. It's actually called the Black Star Independence Square. But let me show you where we are right now and tell you a little bit about this beautiful place we're at. Like I said earlier, it's the Kwame Nkrumah National Mausoleum. It's where Kwame Nkrumah's body and his wife Fatia's bodies are supposedly held. Of course, Kwame Nkrumah was Ghana's first prime minister and president that led the country to independence in the late 1950s. This monument is in his honor, and if you can see, it's quite a beautiful monument. It's surrounded by water, which is supposed to symbolize peace and life in the Ghanaian culture. The monument itself is an upside-down Akan sword, which is actually a symbol of peace as well in the Akan culture, and you can see his monument is right there, and it's quite beautiful being around here. Accra is such a city rich in culture, rich in history, and as we've been here for the past few days, it's been quite exciting seeing how similar, for me as a West African, how similar it is to both French West Africa and English West Africa. It's actually quite a cosmopolitan city, very good roads, very beautiful culture, very delicious food as well. But of course, I just want to pull in my member, Masharia. He's a Kenyan, and it's his first time here in West Africa, in Ghana. So give me your impression so far of Accra, the city.
I love the place. I come from East Africa and up country, actually, in Kenya, where we're far away from the coastal kind of environment. But here, Accra is a coastal city. Well, it has similarities with my coastal town of Mombasa, but much more peaceful in terms of very nice demeanor of the people. People are very helpful. There's no rush here like I'm used to in Nairobi. People are more friendly here, actually, and I like it so much. And of course, the food. I was so keen to try the West African dishes like the fufu. I tried the fufu. I tried the plantains and a lot of pepper, actually, what they call pepper here. It's very hot, actually, but I think I'm adapting to it very well. Yeah, I like the place all in all. Yeah.
Quite a beautiful city. Thanks so much, Macharia, for your take. And I just want to pull in one more person. She's actually a member of our team as well. What do you think, coming from China, compare this city to other African cities you visited?
I think this city, yes, just like Valentino said, is very peaceful, and also it's a little bit hot here comparing to Kenya, Nairobi.
Right.
So, but I really enjoy my staying here because you can see that traveling through the city, you can enjoy the traffic is much better. Right. Yeah, and also the roads and also everything here. Yeah, I love this city.
Thank you. Well, like she said, it's actually quite hot here. As you can see, we're all sweating here in the sun. But like they both mentioned, it's quite a peaceful city compared to other West African cities. But let's learn more about this site we're here at. Let's walk further and talk a little bit more about Ghana's history and what significance this building has to the country. Now, Kwame Nkrumah, besides the Kwame Nkrumah Mausoleum, there are quite a number of old historic sites around this area. If you look, of course, you can't see it now, but further down is the King's Palace, where actually some of the first kings of Ghana used to stay. Unfortunately, we can't see it from where we are right now, but there's quite a lot of background and history here. If we walk down this way, and by the way, this is one of the most popular tourist sites. When you look up Accra, Ghana, one thing you learn about is Kwame Nkrumah. But let's just walk down and take a look at some of the beautiful places. Now, one thing that they like to boast about when they talk about this monument is the fact that it's made out of a lot of Italian marble. It's very beautiful. Certainly, the government spared no expense when it came to setting this up. This is a monument of Kwame Nkrumah himself. Great. So let's walk further in and take a look at what exactly this monument is. And like I mentioned earlier, this is an upside-down Akan sword, and they say the Akan sword is a symbol of peace, and that's sort of what the idea was when they were setting up this monument. And if you walk further into the building, you'll see the tombs of, or rather the graves of Kwame Nkrumah and his wife Fatia. Now, apparently there's a lot of debate around this. They say that supposedly his body was taken out of this monument because people felt that it was more important for him to be buried in his home village or his hometown. So we're not sure whether he is buried here anymore, but this is supposed to be his resting site. And as you can see, peaceful gardens. It's quite a peaceful place to be. Now, another symbol here that is quite exciting to talk about is the Black Star there. And like I said, the Independence Square down the road is called the Black Star Independence Square. And there's one here as well. And it symbolizes unity in Ghana, apparently. They use the Black Star to symbolize unity amongst the people. And as we know, Ghana is actually one of the most democratically celebrated countries on the continent. But let's go further in and take a look. I'm just gonna walk backwards and hope I don't fall in here. Now you can see there's no water in here right now, but apparently when they were building this structure, they decided to put a pool of water around it because it symbolizes life in Ghana's culture as well. But it looks like the water is sort of run dry right now. And it's quite beautiful, surrounded by Italian marble, they say. But right here is Kwame Nkrumah's grave. And just across there, you can see his wife's grave, Fatia. Now, one thing our guide told us about Kwame Nkrumah, who, of course, was the father of Ghana, is that he married an Egyptian woman because he strongly believed in unity of all the different African countries. And it's symbolized in the fact that he married an Egyptian woman. Her name was Fatia Nkrumah. Now let's go further down into this monument. What's quite interesting is this actually wasn't the first Kwame Nkrumah monument that was set up. It was actually set up years ago in the old Polo, what they call the old Polo site, and also the old Parliament building, which we saw earlier. But during a mob attack quite a while ago, they defaced his statue. So as you can see there, a member of the public found it and decided to return it back to the Ghana's government. And that's what you see over there. That's Ghana's old, the first statue of Kwame Nkrumah. I wonder if we can go closer and just take a look at the rich story behind the finding of that. Just a moment. We'll be right back. Now, of course, as you know, look at this beautiful building right here. Just before we take a look at the monument, look at that beautiful building. And you'll see a lot of that as you drive through Accra. There's a lot of old architecture still in place that was never torn down. And that's when I say that Accra has such a rich historical background. It's quite interesting to see. A rich culture and historical background. So this was actually the first statue of Kwame Nkrumah. As you can see here, the bronze head of Kwame Nkrumah's original statue, it stood in front of the old Parliament House in Accra, and it was actually vandalized in 1966 and recovered in 2009 by a patriotic citizen. And as you can see, this is also another old statue of Kwame Nkrumah. It's actually falling apart, but it's the original statue which stood in front of the Parliament House. It was attacked by a mob and vandalized, and now it stands in the wake of a military with police coup d'etat on 24th February in 1966. So this country has come from far, and I think one of the biggest impressions you get from the Ghanaian people is that they're quite a laid-back and peaceful people. As you know, globally, we celebrate them as one of Africa's most democratically peaceful country on the continent. So you definitely get that sense when you move through Accra, that they're quite a peaceful, rich historically, rich culturally type of people. And this Kwame Nkrumah mausoleum is just a great symbolic or symbolism of their culture. Well, thank you so much for joining me. I'm Uche Okoronkwo. Goodbye from Ghana. We'll keep updating you about our exciting trip through Accra.